cards for this one. I just wanted to express. It's one of those hours when I'm deeply in thought and in reflection about something that has been on my mind. So I'm just gonna say it. When you have a pretty face and you know you're not stupid, and you see people's intentions and you're aware, and you're a bit psychic, you know how to stand up for yourself. You're a target. I've been a target ever since I was a little kid. I know, and I've known, the women in my life, whoever raised me, whoever was around me, the women around me. I'm looking at birds outside, they make me so happy. The women I was around growing up, I knew they seen something in me and they didn't like it. And I knew that they said things, they did things intentionally to try to make me feel small. To try to make me feel less about myself. Lately, maybe in the last year, I have been doing a lot of healing when it comes to sisterhood, womanhood, debunking, dismantling, and breaking the unhealthy patterns of being hated on from women because of simply who I am and how I am and how I stand and how I sit and how I eat and how I love and how I nurture and how I stare and how I dress and how I talk, the tone of my voice. I've been giving it some deep thought and have been writing my affirmations, speaking my affirmations, just breaking that cycle of being hated on. And lately I've been journaling a lot, how can I get to a point of having more healthy relationships with women, having more sisterhood, and keeping that up, in the name of sisterhood. And I believe little by little it's getting there. But then you still have times and you still have days when, you catch somebody looking at you up and down. They'll instantly project. It's as simple as you just saying hi, and then they take your hi as something to berate. Because that day your hair looked nice and your makeup looked nice, you had a clean face, your eyelashes was done, you have makeup on, your lips look shiny, you know what I'm saying? You did something to yourself that made you glow up that day, and by just you simply saying hi, it's like an insult. Don't come up to me and say hi. This is coming from me. This is my experience. This is my POV. Okay. Don't come up to me and say, I don't like you. Because of what I'm wearing, because of how I look, because of how I'm presenting myself. That's another thing also, is like, when you got a pretty face and you present yourself well and you have a clean face, you know what I mean? It's one thing to have a clean face, but it's another to like present yourself a certain way, like you assert yourself a certain way, you know? Not only do you have a pretty face, and not only do you have a clean face, not only do you, just dress well, not only do you present yourself a certain way and assert yourself a certain way, altogether, that's a threat to somebody. Because you know how to clean yourself, you know how to manage yourself, you know how to present yourself, I mean, it's just basic stuff. But when you got a pretty face, it's not basic to them. It's not basic to them. All that put together is a threat. You're an enemy. You start to become an enemy. You start to, like, your whole presence is something to look out for. I notice also is like when you're quiet, you don't really want to say anything, you're just present. You're just simply present, you know what I mean? And you look good that day. You're dressing well that day. You get a clean face that day. Someone from the corner in the back of the room, someone, at least one person's got to say something out of the blue. And it's indirect too. It's not directed towards you, but it's about you. I've had jobs where, I was a host for a while. I've had a lot of jobs at different restaurants, okay, in the last couple years, I don't care, I don't know. And when you work with women and you walk into work and you're happy that day, you're cheery that day, you look good, you feel good about yourself, and your boss tells you, I need you to do this. Okay, I just got here. Okay, well, I just told you to do this. Okay, why don't you let the other girls do it? I asked you. It's stuff like that. That's like, it's gonna come up because you are who you are, and you just walked in, and you be presenting yourself a certain way, and you be asserting yourself differently. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you're authentic. Especially when you're like, you kind of stand out of the crowd. You kind of stand out, from the crowd a little bit. You don't mean to. And you don't intend to, but you don't also want to depress yourself and suppress yourself, because if you do that, you're not being yourself, you know what I mean? So it's like, you kind of stand out a little bit, but you're not trying to stand out. You just do. You just be, you just are, you know what I mean? And you're instantly a target. And so someone or something's gotta pop up out of nowhere, you know what I mean? It's indirect, but it's directly at you. They don't mean for it to be direct, but deep down they try to be direct. It's like intentionally being direct, but it's like meant to be indirect. Or they'll find ways to smite you, without trying to seem like they're smiting you. They're being spiteful, but it's about you. Sometimes I feel like me and my sister's relationship has gone just spiraled, and it just keeps spiraling down. Ever since we were little girls, my mom would, bring us around to her friends, her family, and I was always the one that was like getting the attention. Oh, Kim, you're so pretty. You're so beautiful, Kim. And, my sister was there. She's seen it all. She heard it all. To this day, I think she's been holding on to that resentment towards me. And her and I's relationship has not been the best. In fact, it's gotten worse over time. But it's like, it's not something that I am able to control, but I'm the one to blame because I have the one that has the pretty face. I'm the one to blame. And now I gotta feel that resentment from her because I'm the one to blame because, well, my mom's friend just said, Kim is so pretty. And they didn't really acknowledge my sister. So yeah, I'm the one to blame because I got the pretty face. And that's been happening since we were little kids, little girls. I'm 34 now and she's 35. And she can't tell me that's not the real reason why we don't got a good relationship because, bitch, I'm psychic and I'm intuitive. You know what I mean? I can't control that either. So like, what? I'm not going to hide that. I'm not going to mask that. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to also pretend that that's not it. You know what I mean? But they want me to not give it attention. But if it's ruining you guys' relationships, like, how can I not pay it attention? You know what I mean? When you have a pretty face, it's a hard day. It's a hard life sometimes. It's cruel. It's cold. It's like you literally have been left out in the cold and they don't give a shit. Nah. Oh, because you look like that? Because you look like that and you got that face? And you got that personality and you got that light inside of you? And you got that voice and you have that confidence? You're good. You're good. You don't need anymore. You don't need anymore. That's what they think. That's what they think. But what they don't know is like, we suffer and we suffer in here because of it. We suffer a lot in here, but you don't see it. It's not visible to you. It's in here. It's in here. It's what we see in here. It's what we feel in our heart. It's not visible to anybody else. But because we look like this on the outside, it's easier for one to say, she's good. Bye. He's good. He don't need anymore. She don't need anymore. And so sometimes I feel like I be suffering for no reason, I be having a hard life. I be having a hard day for no reason because somebody thinks this way about me because of how I look, because how my face looks for the day, because I be wearing my lashes today like this, like so, because I be wearing my makeup today like this, like so, because I be wearing my hair this way, like this, like so. is cruelty. It's a lot of suffering. On my sister's wedding, we didn't even really take pictures. Her and I, no. And I already know why. Sometimes, not so much these days. These days, I just be spending a lot of time alone. Like a lot. And when I'm hanging around with women, it's mostly women that are older, like way older than me, like 20 years older than me. But before, when I used to go out and party, you know, I'd be out with the girls. And every time we take selfies, every time we take pictures, I know my sister purposely tries to hide the pictures from me. And it sucks because what if I want those pictures? What if I want to keep those pictures for myself? Like, you got your reason, and I know you got your reason because this has been your reason since we were a little girl. But what if I want to take, what if I wanted you to take those pictures because I wanted to keep it for myself for memories? But she has her reason for not showing it to me. It's like I gotta ask for permission. And we always gotta take it on her phone, not mine. Trust when I say, like, let's take pictures, right? I just be like, let's take pictures. Let's take pictures. And I'd be pulling out my phone and she'll be like, no, let's put it on, let's take pictures on my phone. No, on my phone. And then after that, she literally obsessively, I'm not trying to put her out or anything, but I'm gonna put her out for real. She obsessively looks at the pictures and she compares. Like, hard, dude. To a point where she's hurting her brain. And now she just hurt her brain, and then now she resents me for her choosing to hurt her own brain. You know what I mean? But it's my fault. Everything is Kim's fault. If her and I were right next to each other right now, today, as we are, exactly as we are today, as we are, as she is, as I am today, in present time, you would know. Something's wrong with those two. If we were sitting right next to each other, or if we were standing right next to each other, you would know, you would see the tension. I know it's like I'm making a whole video about pretty face. You're making a whole video about you having a pretty face, Kim. Like, what's that all about? Like, who cares? Who cares? I do. I care. This is my goddamn YouTube channel. I can talk about whatever I want to talk about. And you clicked on it. I care. Because I've been suffering for a long time because of it. I've been around jealous women my whole life, and I can't even get at least one woman to stay friends with, to be consistently stay friends with. Because there's always something wrong with my face. There's always something, and it's me. I'm the problem. I care because I've been suffering my whole life I literally have been bullied by so many different women in my life. And you know what? I really thought about it hard and clear. Should I post this? Should I talk about this? Is this something to talk about? Is this even that important to talk about? Is this even important to spend time, 20 minutes talking about this? I just literally went into it and I just kept going, and I'm here now with you, and I'm still here and you're still watching. But like, the cruelty and the vindictiveness that I experience from my POV, middle school, high school, when I got out of high school, in my 20s, all the way up to now, I literally had to keep to myself. And all of the women in the past that I've been friends with and called best friends and trusted, we ain't friends. And I suppose, like, you know, I needed to get this off my chest because, like, it has been an issue. It has been something that I've just been trying to, like, put together like a puzzle. Like, dang, like, it had to go this far in someone's jealousy. Like, literally, one's jealousy became so possessive and obsessive. To a point of no contact, no access, no friends, no girlfriends, no sisterhood. And I'm over here like, I'm trying to heal from that. I'm trying to break that so I can have healthier relationships with women. But it just so happens that every single time I try, it's like, here comes another evil eye. And it's more extreme this time around. And it's not, I suppose it's not just my face, but it's something about how I carry myself that you don't fucking like. And then all of a sudden, you find out that they were having a secret competition with you. What? When? And when did that start? Because I literally was friends with you this whole motherfucking time. I didn't know you had a secret competition with me. I didn't know you were talking shit about me to other women around you. There must be something about me that you don't like, that you ain't telling me, but you be telling everybody else around you. Other women that you're friends with, but you can't be honest to me, and you can't tell me yourself. There must be something about me that you don't like, that you be dishonest about, but you be telling other women in your life about me, but you never tell me. Man, when I tell you I've had this problem my whole fucking life, like, it started in the family. You know what I mean? Like, if you know what I'm talking about and you're watching this, like, it started in your family and then it just became a pattern as you grew up. And if you is in an Asian family, it's even worse. They will insult you. They will belittle you. Especially when you're smart. Because you don't just got a pretty face, you're smart. You know what you be saying and you know what you be doing, but they be acting like you don't. They want you to believe that you're not smart. That's cruel. They want to berate you. They want to belittle you in everything that you say and everything that you do. And they try to instill it in your mind. You're not smart. You're just pretty. So do what pretty girls do. I remember this one time, one of the uncles, and I'm just gonna call him uncle because he's really not one of my favorite uncles for real. I'm just gonna be straight up. I'm gonna call him uncle or kuya. He came over one time, and he asked me like, how you been? How you doing? Like, what you been up to? And I'm always being honest. Like when people ask me shit like that, like I'm just straight up honest. I'm gonna tell you my truth, you know what I mean? And around that time, I was going to a lot of Amway meetings. I was trying to keep up with that. The first part of the introduction of the Amway process, I was like 2 weeks in my Amway training, okay? And, I was just trying to hustle. I'm trying to start something, and I was introduced to the Amway, process. So it was probably like 2 weeks, like I probably, in my 2 weeks in the meeting with my trainer at the time. And I told him about it. I told my uncle. And he just looked at me. Amway, huh? And then he goes, say, what do you use for your eyelids? What colors do you use for your eyelids? And I'm like, huh? I'm over here telling him about Amway because he asked me how you been, right? He asked me how you been. And I was honest. I told him the truth. I've been going to meetings. I've been going to Amway meetings. And I thought that would be like, like a conversation to talk about because he's all about numbers and like, you know what I mean? Like he's all about numbers, and I just thought like if I brought that up, like that would be a great conversation. But no, he reversed. He's like, say, what colors do you use for eyelids? And I'm like, huh? And then I realized he was talking about makeup. You know where I'm going with this? I realized he was talking about makeup. And then I thought, oh, I see. I'm not allowed to talk about my process with my trainer, my Amway process with my trainer with you, because, well, you're a man and I'm a woman with a pretty face. And I'm only allowed to talk about what pretty girls do with a man like you. I don't really like him, to be honest. No. Because I see now how he perceives me. You can disagree with me. I don't care. And I mean that sincerely. You can disagree with me. It's cool. You have an opinion. Everybody has an opinion, but I do too. I'm just telling you my experience. I'm telling you from my perspective. You know what I mean? From my point of view. Because, well, he asked me and, well, I answered him. And then he reversed it. It's like he completely changed the topic. Because he perceived me as somebody, as you're a woman, and what I see as somebody, you're a woman, and what I see in front of me, you should be talking about like makeup. You should be talking about like fashion and shit. But I didn't say that I didn't like makeup. I didn't say that I didn't like fashion. I love makeup. I love playing with makeup, and I love fashion. I love putting looks together. I do. When I was like in my 20s, I would do like a OOTD every day. Also, I was fucked up in the head back then, so it's a different time, okay? I'm not saying like I don't like makeup. I'm not saying that I don't like fashion and I don't do what pretty girls do. But I'm also a multifaceted woman. I don't just do what pretty girls do. I have a life too, you know. I have a fucking brain, homie. You don't want to believe that I don't have a brain, but I got brains too, dude. And you know what? I suffered so much in my life that for a long time they suppressed me so much to a point of insanity that I forgot I was smart. I forgot I was smart because the family told me all kinds of cruelty, all kinds of unbearable words to make you forget that, you know, you ain't that smart. I see what you look like. You should stick to that. You should stick to what you look like. Oh, is that how you see it? Because, you know, I'm a multidimensional, multifaceted, multicultural person. To me, when I look at myself in the mirror, yeah, I got a pretty face. But when I look at myself in the mirror in the morning, I see a whole world in here. I don't actually focus on my face first. I focus on, you know, using the bathroom, brushing my teeth, washing my face, and then, oh, hello. It's time to put on some makeup. Time to turn on my brain today. It's such a cruel world for pretty girls because you're going to be perceived so many personalities, and people, especially men, you know, they're going to plant so many things in your mind and purposely try to plant things in your mind to make you think that you're not more than just a pretty face. And that's when they swoop in and try to control your every move, control your motives, control your narrative. I'm thinking about Britney Spears when I say that, you know, because like how her dad put her in that state and locked her up and everything, and like, she's still a fucking legend to me. I don't give a fuck what anyone says, but really messed her up, you know? Because she's a woman. She's talented, she's gifted, she's known, she's well known for what she does, and she's fucking talented. She was one of my favorites growing up, for real. Like, I had her posters all over my wall. I had all kinds of like 20s, like 2000s pop stars all over my wall when I was growing up. Like NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, Mandy Moore, Christina Aguilera. You know, I was so inspired by different talents like that, like dancers. I love to dance as well, you know. But like, sorry, I digress. But I'm saying like how women are looked at, you know, because you're not just a pretty face, but you got talent and you're confident, and there's a whole personality in here, you know what I mean? But you're not allowed to show that personality. You're only supposed to just sit pretty and do what pretty girls do. And I guess if you're not smart enough, if you don't tell yourself that you're more than just a pretty face, you're going to get stuck in a mentality where everybody wants you to be. And then you're going to be depressed, extremely suppressed, exactly where they want you to be. And I guess if you're a female and you're watching this and you know what I'm talking about, and you got a pretty face, and you got a personality, and you're confident. You're just confident. That's part of your personality, you know what I mean? But it's not even just confidence, it's just you simply being you. And that irritates a lot of men and women. And they are going to be cruel. And they're going to be spiteful. And they will smite. And they will throw spite. And it's like you don't even see it coming until you see it. And then it just continues on and on and on and on and on. And then you're like, am I being bullied here? Like at first you're going to go, well, why are people treating me this way? Why are people talking to me in this tone? Why are people giving me this attitude, And at first it's not going to register, you know what I mean? Because you're just being yourself. And then when it just keeps on going and it's just repeatedly happening, you're thinking to yourself, oh, that's what it is? Like, dang, you're that petty? You know what I mean? Like, there's so many scenarios. Especially when you stand out and there's something about you that stands out. They're going to purposely make you a laughing stock. They're going to purposely make you somebody to tease, to bully. Excuse me, I gotta let my dog out. They're going to purposely make you feel like this. Because, well, you already have the looks. And that should be enough. You already have the looks. You can't have the whole package. So it's okay to insult you once in a while. It's okay to bully you once in a while. It's okay to make you feel less once in a while. Because, you tell me what you think. Because from experience, it's been a cold, cold life. You are, in fact, not allowed to be smart and pretty at the same time. But also, if you're psychic and you're aware and you see people's intentions and you got a personality, a loud personality without even trying, and you stand out without even trying, what should I do? Kill myself so you can be happy? And I'm not going to say that nobody actually tried, because somebody tried to do that. Somebody in my life that I know have tried to take me there and have punished me and pushed me literally to insanity so that I wouldn't be alive. It's called jealousy. It's called possessiveness, obsession. That should never ever be there. That should never ever be ever. I'm not going to tell you that nobody has tried to keep me unalive, because they have. I've had so many women in my past who's gossiped about me, created a smear campaign about me and talked about me low, like low, 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 low. And with me and my sister, low, 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 low. Nothing about it is fair. Nothing about it has been fair. So maybe it led me here because I am tired. And I need to speak up my truth and what I feel about it. Being it a place to talk about this, the safe space to talk about this, why not? There's gotta be a safe space somewhere to talk about it. And if you on the other side hearing me, like, you feel me, you get me. It's not an easy life, but everybody wants to believe that it is because, well, you have it easy. Do something about it. When you have that look, when you have that type of features, when you got that look, it should be an easy life, right? No, not right. Like, sure, like there are times when it's like you take advantage of it and you get what you want out of it, but that's not how to live life. No. That's not how you live life. Like when I was modeling back then, and it wasn't like a big, like I was like out there, like on magazines, like it wasn't like that, but I tried it and it was just expression. But even then, it didn't make me feel good. Maybe it's because I was in a different mindset, different mentality, but it's not something that I only want to do. It's what society expects you to do because that's your field, because you have the looks, you have the features. So that's what society expects you to be in, to do. But that's not what I only am, is what I'm saying. I grew up in a Filipino family. So of course, if you know what I'm talking about, like you're always gonna get comments like, "You're so skinny. Ah, ang ganda mo. You're so beautiful." And then it becomes repetitive. And then that's all they see you for, because they're not going to acknowledge everything else about you. And they refuse sometimes. They will not. Ang ganda mo naman. Ang ganda mo naman. You're so beautiful. Ganda means beautiful in Tagalog. Ang ganda mo naman. And then it just is repetitive. And then it just sounds like a broken record after a little while. It sounds like a broken record and you're like, but they never acknowledge everything else about you. They never acknowledge the rest of you. Anyway, I just wanted to get that off my chest. Also, when I PMS, I have a lot of thoughts. my mind just goes. It just goes. And then I have a lot of emotions. So I had to just come out and say that. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next, and thank you for being here with me. For real, like, thank you.